All right, so we stopped somewhere last week. I'm going to share my screen shortly as we seek to proceed and navigate further. And by the side, how many of you, none of you have started engaging for your projects, for your mini projects? Hmm?
I actually checked the portal, although I intended reaching out. I
No,
checked the portal.
reach out first before checking the portal.
Okay. Because I checked the portal, I didn't see it. So I said I was going to reach out to know
Okay.
what the problem was.
Okay, yeah. It's fine. So, no, the first thing is for you to get your topic. Think about what you want to, the web application you want to design, something you have in mind. Yeah, so that is where we need to start from. Okay, so let us start. So what we did last week, let me do a recap of it. A recap. So what they did last week is you all have the source code. I assume you have the source code. So what we did was that we are trying to do like a student info checker, right? That is able to that is able to do what? That is able to check the student score, able to accept input of is a computing task that is able to, which is what you're going to be doing a lot. When you come to JavaScript does a lot of computing. So it's able to handle input, accept your input from your text box, from your form, you submit with a submit button. And then when you submit it, it process it, check your input score and determine if you pass or failed, and then output your details. Make it much more, make the output much more clearly seen, and it stacked it up. Based on the first data goes in first, the second one comes in, the third one comes in. You keep going on and on like that. So that's a very simple computing task that we did, which is something you are familiar with. Like you want to register your course outline in school, you register this course and you want to go and add another course, you click add. So those are the kind of things we are looking at. So the first thing we did is, this is our source code. Can you confirm if you can see my screen? And I hope you all can hear my voice clearly too.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So you see, we have the styles. This is what we have. Basically, this is the source code. Do you get? This is the source code I shared with you guys. And what is it doing? So the first thing we did. So I'm going to do it run quickly this one because last week I know that some of you were struggling to understand. So when you want to start any work, you create a folder. So that folder, that's where you put your work. Index.html, that's the standard. Your first file that will load must be index. Must not be any other name. Okay, where is it? Okay, this is student info. Okay, so let's open it. So basically, this is what we are working on. It's working, right? It's actually working. We enter something like this last week. This is what we did last week. Sandra, let me say 40. You see, so it's accepting input with this button. This button is performing an action. Then these are output. It's outputting it with the result pass or fail. So it's computing. It's computing, meaning it's doing some computation to, some logical work, and then it's outputting it. So we now started, okay, let's look at this. We got a source code, which is something you should be doing a lot. I don't know how many of you, I want to confirm with you, how many of you at least you try to do, you try to code 4 times a week. Let me see your feedback on the chatbot. If you don't do 4 times, you can tell me one. You can tell me how frequent you try new things. like a day, maybe you just give 30 minutes or 1 hour to just try something that you have been working on. It might be something you've been working on before. You try, come back on your computer and you try to engage. Let me see your feedback on in the chat box while I continue. So while I continue, so what I did last week was to separate the code because the JavaScript and the CSS were in the same file. So I needed to separate them. They should be different. So needed to separate them. And how we got to do that was this. My system seems to slow down. Let me try to close some app. Okay, so this one, remember I said because it's a project, so assets, you can call yours library. It's up to you. So wherever I put my add-ons, my stuffs I need to, like CSS, JavaScript, images, it's better I create another folder to store them up. I call this folder JS. And then my file will be my just student js.js so that people will not say that this man is always using my JS every time. Maybe thinking that's the only file name that can be used. So this is our JavaScript now. So the next thing is reference it. So you one step at a time. Do you get scripts? Close your scripts. Yeah, yes. And then say source. So you do one step at a time. That's the way you get things to work. This is where my Java. So I'm trying to reference my JavaScript is under, I'm working under index. Okay, how many people? Only 2 people responded. Okay, promise 4 times in two. So that means 2 times in 1 week, promise. Okay, Jeffrey, I do engage at least 2 times a week. Okay. 4 times, okay, 24 times a week. Okay, I'm still waiting for others. So we have index. So because I'm working in index, I'm referencing, I want to look for my JavaScript from assets under JS. So, uh, so the direction is going to be what? This is my index. So assets, then JS, then studentjs.js. So my file is added. So this guy is added to index. You got it right. So the next thing is test your work because always test. Most time you don't want to. Sometimes you might do some work and think it's working, and you'd have done like a 3 hours work, only for you to come back and discover that nothing is working, something is broken. Then you will now be having difficulty in troubleshooting. Right? You might now begin to undo or delete many things. So anytime you make a fresh change, test it to be sure it's working, to be sure nothing is broken. So what I want to test it is to be sure that when I enter a score, it's computing. I mean, I click my button, it's computing. Right, I'm able to get this result. But if something is broken, you'll see what will happen now. Let me change, like I did put a wrong name. If something is broken, you'll see. I refreshed before doing that. You see, something is broken. It's not clicking. So the moment something is not performing, I need something wrong. Then the next time I can come to inspect console. I knew something is wrong. Do you get? So whenever you bring in a new addition, you do what? You update, you test it immediately. Sorry, I need to send a message to join a meeting late. Mm. Hold on, please. Sorry. Okay, cool. So I hope you got that point. So what we needed to do is the reason is separate JavaScript, separate all your extra work, all your library, all your work that makes your HTML, your website robust, separate them, do them apart so that you don't get untied, you don't get to be doing work in an untidy manner. So the next thing I want to yank off is style, is the CSS. So I will get my CSS also out, get it out from here. Yeah. So what do I do also? I create a new file. This is my CSS. I have to take it, into a new file, separate it, save it, try to save it. Under assets, create a file, be folder CSS, and then save it inside the CSS. Say my css.css, right? So you watch while it changes, right? So this is it. So now the next thing is reference it. How do you reference it? Is within your header. That's the best place to put your CSS link. SR, yes, because assets, no, okay. Then CSS, then my css.css, yes. Then close your link. That's what we use to reference the CSS file. Right. Now, I'm not saving it. You see, this is how your work is without CSS. You see how ugly it is. Do you get? That's because I've not saved this. I've saved it. And let's refresh. You see, it's not working. So something is broken somewhere. So I'm not doing something right. So maybe source and then type. Of course, so maybe I've not specified type. Type text slash CSS. I think this is the right syntax. Let's refresh it. It's not working still. You see, something is wrong somewhere. Yeah, so these are the things we look up to. These are the things we look up to undo, to tackle. These are challenges we always look forward to tackle. And my CSS is rightly stated. The asset, CSS, my CSS, blah, 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 blah. So let me check. How do we reference? Let me check one existing website I'm working on. Okay, let me check this. Check something like this. So, okay, so how did we reference it here? Link, link, link. Okay, this is it, you see. So it means I got something wrong. So you can only just try. You can't you can't know everything by store in your head. So this should be href, right? So let's refresh our work. Okay, you see, we are fine now. So why? Because this thing, I've been coding for how many years now? Since 2010. I've been coding for that's 16 years. Wow. And I've not been able to master this thing in my head. So what I'm trying to tell you is this, is there's nothing wrong when you can't remember your code. But everything is wrong when you don't have internet to check Google. Hmm? Right. So all you need to know is you know what you need to put there, but you might not know the exact thing. So we work side by side with Google. And today of AI, we have cloud, we have ChatGPT. They are very closely knitted to you. So in those days when it can take us to write some code, some website for 2 weeks. Today, it takes 2 hours to finish a website. So, and I'm very happy that we're already gliding out from coming into that zone. So we are coming into the most interesting part of this class. So I really want you, in short, it may be 5 people that we end this class. Do you get? I'm not praying so, but if it's that, it's still an achievement for me because we are coming to the very critical aspect that will be interesting. So your foundational class, if there's anything you don't understand, you have to cry out now because we'll be going to Bootstrap, we'll be going to React.js immediately. The person that will take you React.js is Mr. Ayo. So I've called him. He's the one that took you guys on backend. Some of you guys are not there then. So we'll take you on React.js. So we are coming into a very interesting time. So this is it. So we've referenced CSS, JS. They are all here. You see, this is where they are. This is my JS. And this one is my CSS. So why did I put them in a different file? I've explained it to you before. So that I able to do a tidy work. I can do a neat job, you know. I don't need to be seeing on my CSS file and my JavaScript file in the same space, you know. I can just see them differently. Okay, Jeffrey said, okay, 24 times. Sarah said, most time I go through and try out the codes on W3 majorly every day. Although I attempt updating one of the assignment you gave us, blah, blah, based on what I've learned, but I haven't tried anything new. Okay, Sunday, I will cry. I will cry out too. Yes, Sarah, cry out. Yeah. Anything you don't understand, just make that on the WhatsApp group. You know, I can always do short videos, you know, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. I don't mind. I will always do that. So anything you don't understand, if it's difficult for me to text, I can do voice notes, videos to guide you guys. That's why we have this time now. The moment this course expire, we don't have any contract again. Right. So this is the best time. Anything you don't understand, this is the best time for you to cry out. I can always, maybe we should be doing that. Within the week, I'll just be doing some short video, you know, as like an addendum to our classes so that we can be able to meet up it a lot. Okay, good. So now, beyond what you are learning from Mr. Tayo, you have to go beyond me. That's the best way to learn. What I'm doing to you is just 10%. The 90% is up to you. Are you getting me? So if you feel like this thing will be beneficial to you, please, you are sacrificing a lot joining this class every week. It will be better to make that sacrifice count. So make sure you have this thing on your mind. Be practicing it every day. Like I said, if you are practicing every day, you discover that coding is a lifestyle, is a way of life. Do you understand? And you begin to understand something about life differently when you begin to take coding seriously. So, if you don't code 4 times per week, I can guarantee you that you will get tired and you get frustrated. You will not have the desire to want to continue again. I know what I'm talking about. You must get to that place where if you have not touched your computer to want to try a new thing per day, it will look as if something is missing in your life. If you have not gotten there, you've not started anything at all. In short, as at now, where we have gotten to, if you have not begin to have an aggravated passion, like you are sleeping, you are waking up thinking like, okay, what's this need? How did they do this thing? How did they? If you are not having that curiosity up to now, it's a big problem. I won't lie to you. So, and the reason is that you have not been doing daily practice. I would advise do daily practice. I said four times per week just to give you an average. Like that's the lowest. The expected, what is expected of you is everyday practice. You must create time no matter what if you are going to make it count. Because after this course, the next course we'll be having will be until winter time. That will be September. We'll be looking at, what's the name we are going to give to it? The software architecting in product management. So that one will bring the skill of coding and your UI UX together and merge it as one. Why? Because we've seen the industry. You know, what we are bringing to you is what is current trend in the industry. And we have seen that the industry is no more employing software junior developers. They are no more employing. The only thing you can use this to do, you can still get employed in some company, but it's not like before. The demand is not like before. And also, except you are doing website for some people as a freelance, yes. But to work in a company, it's difficult to enter in as a junior dev because of AI. AI is already doing all of the junior designs today. So you need to you need to learn this foundation first and then come high to the place of architecting. right? Where you can be able to speak product to life. You can be able to like, you have and I know that this is what this person wants to achieve, and you know how to be able to achieve it through AI tools, through some other things that I'll be teaching you guys how to do web scrapping, reusing website templates, because nobody has time to start bringing in someone that will start code from scratch again. Nobody does that again. Are you getting me? So this is we are actually going, climbing higher. But at this stage, you are good. At this stage, if you are practicing every day by day, you should, at this point, you should be, yeah, you should be ready to, just keep gliding, and you should have even gone beyond this class, further beyond this class. So please, I know Lagos can be demanding, and I know things can be demanding on us. But one thing I'll advise us is time management, right? So try to prioritize things. There are some things that can wait. There are some things that cannot wait. Something like this cannot wait. Do you get? All right. So let's continue. That's by the way, I decide. Okay. So yeah, our feedback has been talking alone since morning. Are you guys still following me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is it? All right. Thank you. Hope I have not discouraged you guys.
Not at all.
All right, good. All right. So in explaining the code last week, we said when you want to understand coding, mostly what you'll be doing mostly, like I said, nobody has time developing from scratch. What you'll be doing mostly is you have an idea that, oh, this is what you want to create. And then you mostly ask Google or ChatGPT, oh, code for this, code for that. For example, code for calculator. The assignment I give to you using JS and HTML. I'm just teaching you something. You get. You see, this guy will even give you the Gemini, ChatGPT, and the likes. He'll give you everything. Do you get? So you see simple calculator app. You get. So Mary Jane, so what you are working on, I know many of you have worked on how many of you have really submitted your assignment? Because I will be marking it tomorrow. I'll be yeah. So if you are yet to, please do it on time. So you see, this example of a calculator. So like I said, what you'll be doing most time is trying to understand coding. Because you see, for example, if you load this code, some of you like, what is this one? What is this one? What is this that they are doing? If you even see the line of code is like 1,000, you're like, hey. No, no. I've taught you. Every HTML, just look header. It start with head, then body. The head will always contain the style sheet, CSS. So there are some CSS that I'll be referencing, some CSS from another place. So the body is here. So the body is your concern. Understand the body first to know how the appearance of the app looks like. Do you get? So that's by the way. I don't want to waste time on that. So don't be afraid. So the first thing we analyze is the code that works. So this is the code. Add student and it has a form element, text, input text and number, which are these. This one is for name, this one is for score, and a button. The button has an action on it. On click, this is going to trigger a JavaScript action. So that brings us to the JS. So the JavaScript, so every time you click this button, it comes here. This guy performed that action, add students. Add students function. And like we said, function is what? Function performs an action, and before a function has to be called, or else it will be in a state of inertia. Like I said, I used to mention, every object is in a state of inertia unless an external force is applied on it. Do you get? So this add student function is in a state of inertia. It's doing nothing except we punch this button, which we commanded it that on click. When user click on this button, on click on it, do this action. Do you understand? So that's only when. Or if we want to execute this, except we do something like this, I call the function out here. If I call it out here on runtime, meaning when the website load, I'm telling it that load this add function because I'm calling it here. Do you get? All right, good. So what it's doing is that it's going to add student is what? Is storing the value for name and score into variable. I taught you last week, so I don't need to go back to it. So whatever you input here in your name and score, these two variables are keeping them. Name and score, they are keeping them, because it's going to be reused. So, and then the next thing is student.push name score. All right, good. So we started something last week, which we are going to continue. We started what is called an array. So who can tell me what is an array? Did any one of you practice an array? Who can tell me? We started looking at array. Who can explain to me what an array is?
So according to what
Yeah,
we said last week, so an array is a collection of an item, right?
yeah.
Yeah, simply put, an array is a collection of an item that
Mm.
consists of different, you can have different variable declare inside of it, probably integer, character, every other
String, whatever.
string, yeah, yes.
All right, good. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. So an array is a collection of an item. So, like I said, for instance, a variable can store one value. It can either be integer or string. Can store like, okay, for example, this one is storing your name, the name you enter in the box. This is storing your score. But there's some instance. Look at this instance now. Look at this instance. Look at this instance. Hmm? You see, this attribute is there's a variable that is storing it on this runtime. Hmm? You see, there's a variable that is storing it on this runtime. So you see, there's a variable that is storing these guys. What is it? Tayo, name Tayo, score 40, fail, Sarah 100 pass. There's a variable storing it. So there are some time when we need to store multiple values at the same time, whereby what we want to store as properties is an entity, yeah. An array is a collection of items. We know collections. The collection of items have similarity. For example, you want to store something about a car. You can say car is declared as an array. Then you begin to say steering. It has steering, it has windscreen, it has this, it has that. They are collections of a car. Do you understand? So when we are beginning to look at complex data, we begin to look at an array. A complex data, you are also complex because you have a name, you have an age, you have a matriculation number and things like that. Now, sometimes you don't want to start storing them in individual variable here and there. You have to store it up. You now say a collection of person, collection of teachers, collection of students, collection of teachers, collection of uh, um wherever, collection of uh, employers, collection of employees, this, and that. So, it's a collection of items. So when you begin to look at, for example, collection of students, you say that, okay, you want to define student name, matriculation number, date of birth, and things like that. And then you can have it in a multiple way. So we do that in storing an array. And based on that, because an array is a collection of items, you know, just like you go to a supermarket and they are pointing to you that, no, that item on this row at the bottom, that no, check the one on top and check the one on the left, check the one on the right. It's the same thing for an array, because when items are stacked up, you want to say that, okay, is it the item number one I'm looking for, item number two? So you begin to look at position to be able to find items. So those collections are represented by positions. For example, I make mention of cars. This is a collection of cars. Let's try this code. Saab, Volvo, BMW. Now, I used this as an example last week, so I could use it again. So if I say I want to just output the item number one, item one If I run it, it will give me Volvo. Volvo is number 1 because array starts with 0. The positioning starts with 0. 0, 1, 2. Array also has something called the sizing of an array. We have something called sizing. So you can say cars.length. Now, we begin to come to real work. When we begin to do this, it's 3. So this means the length of this array is what? 3. So attribute of array, position, collection of item, position, length. Now, don't forget that. Collections of item, position. Position means which position? Is it position 0, 1, 2, or 3? And then length of it, meaning what's the size like? I want to confirm. Did you understand this? Don't think about coding yet. Do you understand it literally? First, before applying it, considering how it's applied. Do you understand? Let me get feedback from you guys.
Yes, sir.
Sarah. Sarah.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir. I understand the current.
Okay. Mary Jane.
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So beyond here, practice it. Learn. You see, W3 schools give you a lot of example. Look at this. You see, so there is something called declaration of array, and there's something called how to push items into array. So that's what I want to teach us now. So there's something called pushing items into array. Like you push, okay, maybe there's a new car. You now say, okay, we are pushing on that new car into this array. So array that has 3 elements can now have 4 elements, can have 5 elements. It can begin to expand. Do you understand? So array can be I think you people have done matrix in MTS, mathematics before. You should be able to know these things. Some of you that have started learning matrix or things like that, it's similar. That's what is happening in matrix is like an array. So that's like a multi-dimensional array. All right, so let us go. Let's not waste our time. So we are trying to explain this scenario. So what is happening right here is that we now said every time the user click add student, capture the name that is in the box, the score that is imputed. It means capture this name and this score, put it in a variable called name and score variable, and then say student.push. It means, number 1, it means this student is an array. They declared it. This is how to declare. They declared it as an array. It's like a variable. But how to declare an array variable is like this. You see these 2 braces. It means empty array. It means the array is what? Empty. 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 It means there's nothing there. So now, we now said every time student click the action button, capture the name, the score, and then push name, score. If I put, for example, if I put Tunji here, and I give him a score, 30. What am I doing here? Push Tunji and this score 30 into an array. Push. So it continues to perform that action over. So whatever it pushed there, you see this guy is storing those variables, he's storing all of the items. So it means he's storing all of the previous thing I've entered before because we are on runtime. If I refresh now, it will go empty because the memory, it has refreshed. This guy goes back to empty. So if I start, you see, that's the concept of variable, I thought that variable is stored in the RAM. So on runtime, the value is there. But the moment you refresh, the value is lost. It deletes it from the RAM memory. So it starts afresh again. Do you get? So that's for RAM. RAM memory is volatile. They taught you in computer. So this is where we now begin to say we store things in local DB, database, MySQL. I'm hoping that we're going to touch that. We will surely touch that, don't worry. So we can say Tayo 50. What do you say? Push Tayo. So this is the only item in our array now. I can also do like this. For example, every time I push, I can say something like this. Let's see what is happening per se. Student. Okay, let's see. Let's try to inspect. Say. So when you want to understand what is happening at a particular instance of time, we do this. We put console to check what is happening, what is being attributed. If you don't understand what is happening, you say 70, I say add, push. You see? Console. What is happening here is I'm writing to console, these students, So it's recognized as an array. You see? This is it. Position what? What's this position? Anyone there, please answer me.
Zero.
Zero, right? So this is the first element. Length, 1. So these are attributes of an array. You see, this is able to bring it out for you. Another one, let's say Joshua. Let's say 90. It does what? Push. The array has increased to what? 2. You see, 0 and 1. Can you see the length is now 2? The first position is 0. The second position, 1. If I go to another one and say Jeffrey, I get it right. I get your spelling right. Let me give him 100. Push. It now has 3 elements, 3 collections. 0. Tayo is the first one. Joshua is the second one. Jeffrey is the third guy. Do you see how it works now? So it keeps storing, it keeps stacking up like this. Now, why this guy that is showing now, let's see how it's done. So we now said after this is pushed, show student. Show student is the guy that we are seeing here, this guy. So number 1, you will see this is where it is declared. You see this diff with ID result. That is where show student is. So let's see how they did it. Let's see how it's designed. So this show student. So this is we call show student function from our student after we've pushed into the array. So now that brings us to the next thing that is called loop. 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 So they first of all declared an empty item, an empty variable. We now said for, so let me explain this to you. Okay. So how many of you, do you remember what we call a conditional statement? Let me use this to know if you guys are following the class. Who can tell me what a conditional statement is and what's it used for?
A conditional statement is actually used to show whether an expression is true or false. So it's actually used when you have 2 expressions, like if one meets a particular condition, then it would be output, like you get the output. Otherwise, it considers the other expression and any other expression if there is.
All right, thank you very much for that. So it's used to, it's conditional statement is used to check if something is true or false. And then it's not necessarily has to be accurate. Just say it perform a function, perform an action. So if you don't tell it to do anything, to just not do anything. If it's true and you tell it that, okay, go and get my ATM card to go and do that stuff. That's very good of you. Thank you. So another kind of statement we have is the loop. See, please pay attention to this. This is the most very important thing you need to learn. See, let me tell you the secret of coding. You can learn with what I've taught you now. You can replicate what I've taught you in JavaScript to learn Java right now, PHP right now, to begin to learn Python right now, to begin to learn any programming language right now. Because the only thing, because they use the same flow. You can understand them. What you just need to understand is them how to set it up. Look, how do I set up the environment for me to write a Java code, to write a PHP code? That's all you need. And the terms of syntax are not too different. Every code declares variable. You have to learn that. Every code has a conditional statement. Every programming or code is the same thing as a loop. So one of the critical things you must learn in programming is condition statement loop. Loop is like this. is what we call iteration. You know what is called iteration? Like you are reading through a list. You check the first thing, you check the second thing, you check the third thing until the last thing. Right. In short, is what is one of the basic things that AI used to do some work. Like maybe you give a task to be executed, and then it begins to read it from the first to the second to the third to the last, and then to the nth item. That's what we call loop. So loop is applicable in every aspect in programming. You will see it everywhere. Right. So let me go straight to the bone, to the real bone. So what is happening right here is this loop is doing what? There's a way to declare it. For loop, what we are trying to do is simple. Let me explain to you. Is that this guy, every time a new value is entered, the array expand, right? As the array expand, this guy, we are telling the computer that loop through all of the array and let the result be in this fashion. Let the result be in this fashion. And then output it like this. Iterate through the array. Let me use that English term. It will be very easy for you to understand that. Iterate through the array. It means from position 1 to the nth position. Iterate through them. That's what we actually did here. So what we said is let I equals to 0. It means what we are doing here is 0 equal to 0 and I less than student length. This is increase I. To be confusing, don't worry, you'll be fine. So what this is saying is simple. From 0 to the length of the array, simple. From the 0th element to, if the length is 3, is to the last third element. It's from 0 to the last element. That's what this means. 0 to the last element. 0, first collection to the last collection. First collection to the last collection. Let's iterate through it. We want to be able to read into the array. We want to capture each value in the array, systematically. So the reason for this is that I'm looking for how to explain to you. I could have, what I'm doing here is, this is array 1, right? This is array 0. Is 0. This is 1. This is 2. I could have divided it by myself, but whenever I'm adding a new item, how does the array, how is it going to automatically refresh this output? It will not. So the only way we can do it is to iterate through it. Set a define parameter so that this guy is looking for. So, when we say student.push, it push new item into this array. This guy is a global variable, is outside. So this guy is updated, which is the array variable. So I now said, let this, we want to loop from 0 to the length of the student. This student will always have the latest collections of items. So if the collection of items increase to 5, so it will be iterating from 0 to, to the length, Right. So the next thing we now do is student name, student score. Student's name, it want to capture it inside the array, Which one has student's name? Which one has student score? Now look at this array. Can you see this is a multi-dimensional array? So I want to ask a question. Which one has student's name? Which position has student's name? Which position has student score? In all of this array, you could see that they are similar. Array 0, 1, 2. They all have the same properties. Which one is for name? Which one is for score? Anyone?
R0 has
Position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. Cindy, don't talk. Somebody wants to speak.
Position 0 is for the name. Position 1
is for the score, right? All right, good. Thank you. And don't forget, the reason why it's so is because this is the way we defined the array. I define it that push name before score. So if I switch it and say score name, it means score will be position 0, name will be position 1. You got that right? So that's why name, score, name has 0 and score. So that's why name take the position 0 and score has the position 1. The reason why I'm saying that is that we want to capture student name, student score. So what it's doing is it's trying to, literally I would have done something like this. Student is 0. This year, we captured the first item with the name. But I said I, because I'm iterating through. So this is how iteration work. I equals to 0 to the last item. So now I will always pick the first item. I here, so this one, I is 0 here. I is 1 here. No. I is 0. I is 1. I is 2. 0, 1, 2. That is I. That is what I represent, the variable I. The I that we define here, that is what it's doing. So likewise, the first one, I equals to 0 is 0. It always automatically, this one is by default, it will pick the name of the first item in the array until the nth item, which is the last item in the collection. Then the next thing I want to define is the results. Is it pass or fail? So this one is very simple. Is how we do it is that, okay, I define something called status, and I said every time student score, you say this is condition 9. If the student score is less than or equals to 50, status equals to pass. Unless it fail. So all this thing I've done, all this paparazzi I've done here, I now said let the output be done in this fashion. We call this inner HTML. Inner HTML. What we are doing today, if this is the only thing we will do today and you understand it, you are good to go. We've concluded a lot on JavaScript. In short, we've concluded a lot. So let's look at it again. JavaScript executes from head to toe. I've explained to you that add student is to do what? Captured is to do what? Push an array into push items, name and score into this array, which is declared here as a global variable here. Global variable means it can be accessible everywhere. If student is not declared, if it's to declare under add student, this guy show student cannot access students. So we declare it outside of functions. That's what we call global variable. Okay, so now looping is what we are trying to do is anything that is added in this array, we want to be able to show everything right here. Because everything is in an array, so we now need to loop through it. We need to iterate through the array. To iterate it, we declared this. This is to declare that we want to iterate from 0, always from 0, to the last nth item of that array. We need to know it. The way we can know that, okay, for example, we can just say, oh, I want to loop from 0 to 10. Okay, wait. So that it does not confuse you. Let me try on that method. I know when my students are following, I know when they are confused. Let's do it this way. Let's start one after the other. Let me do this. This is how loop work. Let's say 4. I can say var I equals to 0, I less than 9. I plus plus. Let me close this. Okay, let's do something simple as this, so that I don't confuse you. Let's say console.log. This is value for I at this point. So I will concatenate it, say show the value of I. So let's do something simple like this and I'll explain. Tayo All right. Now, did you see this? This is the value for I. What I did here was what? I'm trying to loop. The looping I'm doing here is for a value. I actually decided the value. I decided the value by myself. I put the range. Like my range is from 0 to 9. Do you understand? I can likewise say it can be from 1 to 10. It means my counting will start from 1. See this value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So look at it. Let's try to understand it closely. So this is what I have done. So on this button action, when I click on this button, it executes show student, right? So the show student execute this iteration. So this iteration is, I want to do a count from 1. Less than 10 means it should not be up to 10, right? It will be from 1 to 9. It means that then I now say console.log. This is the value for I at this point. So it means it will show, and I say plus I. The first one is what? 1. The second one, 2. The third one, 3. So what it's doing here is counting from 1 to 9. Did you understand it to this point? Did you understand iteration looping to this point? It's just like I'm doing counting. The computer is doing counting by itself.
Yes, I do.
Sarah.
I think another thing to clarify. I
Eh?
think I'm thinking that to clarify the I there, what it actually means. Because
Okay. Let me explain the
I know
I.
that it is I know that another figure can be used there, maybe
Okay.
another letter, and it will still work.
The I is a
So
variable. The I is a variable. Now, before we explain what is I, what is this one or that, the idea is what I want to sell to you guys. Don't look at how did Mr. Tayo put variable I equals to 1, I less than 10. What is all of these things? Understand first. This thing that resulted to what we have here, that this is value for I at this point. Do you understand why we understood why we have this?
I think I do, sir. From the code, I do, sir.
Okay. Who else?
I understand, sir, but I have a question.
All right. It's a question.
Okay. So, when I was going through W3, I saw in one of the tutorial sets that they said it's wrong to use the what is it called? The keyword, VAR. They mentioned the other terms you could actually
You
make
know,
use of.
don't worry about that. No, we'll come
Okay,
to that.
okay, sir. And
Ignore
then
that.
when I saw this I plus plus, I began to like think of it that why do we have to like use I plus plus, and there was like a repetition of that I, because I could not even tell
I
which.
plus plus is just a syntax to denote iteration. We're iterating.
Oh,
We're iterating I.
okay,
So it does
okay,
not, it's plus, it must be plus plus. Do you understand? It's to
okay.
denote we're iterating. What I want you to understand is, don't try to understand this code yet. Try to understand why we arrive at these results. Literally as a layman. In the layman terms, I'm trying to count. Like, you remember your abacus. You took 10 stone and you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's what I'm doing here. I'm trying to count 1 to 9. I said less than, because my syntax said less than 10. If I say less than or equals to 10, it will count to 10 for me because it will respect that range. Some people, you see, it will count it up to 10 for me because I have given it leverage to consider 10, less than or equals to 10, meaning consider 10, but don't go beyond 10. There are some people that feel like they've been lost here. So if this is where we're going to stop, let's not go further. Do you understand to this point? Do you understand do you understand the fact that what we are trying to do is just to do a counting from 1 to 10. And the reason why we are counting from 1 to 10 is because we set a range that our iteration should be from 1 to I less than or equals to 10. If it's from 1 to 9, I will say start my counting from 1 to I less than 10, meaning that it must not be 10. I must not be more than 10, so it will end at 9. If I said I from 0 to less than 10, it means it's starting from 0. My count will start from 0, and then we end at 9. Do you understand this counting for this counter? We use it for counter.
Yes, sir.
Only Promise and Sarah and Tunji. Should we end the class today so that we'll proceed? Maybe we'll be doing short video for that one. All right, nobody's saying anything. Okay, so let's conclude.
Excuse me, sir. Can I ask a question?
Ask your question, please.
Okay. This is about JavaScript. I've been going through like the W3 school, but how to like come about statements like this where we have this get element by ID, like how to like put your words together, even when you actually know what to do. Let's say, okay, I want to actually bring this result, but then there are some keywords you have to use or something you
Sarah, I've
actually.
already taught you now. I've taught you that you don't need to know everything. All you need to have is the idea. Ask Google and say, okay, I want to
Okay.
get the value for the element from my text box. How do I get it? It will give you the code.
Oh,
That's all you
okay,
need.
sir.
You don't need to cram
Okay,
all
sir.
these things.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, sir.
Okay. So let's proceed. Since maybe you guys are not following me, maybe you'll come back to this video to watch it later. But we need to move fast. So to be honest, it's your lack of daily practice. That's why we are not getting it. If you have been practicing every day, your eyes should have opened up. So please, if you will end everything with my class, it's better you just leave coding alone. Do you get? Make sure if you really want to, if you have gone this far, 3 months, so don't let us waste time. If you have come this far, I believe that you can take it to the end. You've gone very far, right? So, and one thing, I told you there is a way of life that when we began this journey, I told you it's going to reveal something in you. If you stop and give up, it will also reveal something in you. It means that you might want to always give up at things in life. But if you can push it to the end, you will notice something that you will break a kind of restraint that you never knew was in your life, and you'll be able to go beyond yourself, and it's going to affect you spiritually all around. So take this like a discipline. Do you get? Even while you are not understanding, tell to yourself, I can understand this thing, and I will understand you. That you are not difficult, I will understand you. Because it's not about maybe some class of people that can understand coding. No, it's a lie. You can understand it. Do you get? So practice. Copy and paste code. What I've done, copy and paste. Run it. Test it. Turn the thing upside down. Let it give you error. Try to correct it. I'm not even sure maybe some of you have run this code before since last 2-3 weeks I shared with you. So please don't wait for me for this class, because we need to end this. We need to end our course quickly. All right. So what we're doing here is, like I was trying to explain, is that we're iterating through the array. So instead of putting 10, putting definite counter limit to where we want to iterate through. We put student dot length is the array length. So this one will always give us a value. It can be 3, it can be 4, it can be 5. If the array is 6, it will be 6 that you see there. So it means our counter will be from 0 to 6. You get, no, 0 to 5 if it's 6 here. So it's because it has to be lesser. This I++ is just to iterate. We declared I as a variable here. And it can only be used within this 4. It can only be used within this brace, within this part. It can only be used. And this is where it's open, this is where it's closed. So I've explained here, this captures the name and the score within the array. This defines the status, maybe pass or fail, like you've seen right here. Oh, sorry. I think I've not returned it back to how it's supposed to be. You see? So pass or fail is based on the status here. Do you get? So now, this attribute is responsible for what you find here. This thing that is showing right here. So this guy is responsible for it. So we did output plus equals to, so what this means is plus equals to means it continues to iterate. So this is similar to, remember your output is here. We declared it here. So this is similar to, it's the same thing as this. You know, in coding, there are many things that can be used in a different way. This is the same, similar to this. You say to give us the same answer. So Yoruba is to say something that onokon waja. It means one road does not enter into the market alone. It means there are many roads that enters to the market. So in coding, many roads leads to an answer. Do you understand? So what we are trying to do here is loop. It means from item 0, it stores the value, then name. So this one, you can see this is an HTML. So this is what we call inner HTML. Then it attach the value for student name, student score, and the status for the 0th position. Then after it reads, it will iterate is from top to bottom. After it read it here, you know, it has already stored the value here. It will now go back again, look at the second item, the next item. It will run through it again. It will keep, so this one means that it keeps it. In reality, it will be like this. 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 Do you get? Yes, the output will be like this. 1, 2, 3. This for 3 items. So when I have something like this, you see, when I have something like this, you see, so it keeps adding up together. Because, but that's it in reality, you know, how it's going to show in let outputs. But because we are iterating, the iterating takes care of that. So how it takes care of that is that I already put output equal to output plus. It means it keeps adding up to. It takes this one, add the next one, in putting all of the value there. Do you get? So at the end of this loop, after this loop, because I told you JavaScript, it executes from top to bottom. So one item has to execute finish before the other one executes. So when this 4 finish executing, then this one will not execute. So this one is the get element by ID result, this guy results, then paste the answer, paste output in .inner.html, paste this guy, the output. So that's why you keep having this. That's why you keep having this info. And this info, there's a CSS that has been applied to it. Result style. Let's see. There's a CSS that has been applied to it. Where's the guy? I think there's a CSS somewhere. Okay, let's leave that. So that is how this code runs. So in a real sense, to be honest, I'm actually not expected to run you through everything one after the other, but because I want you to get it, it's really slowing us down. Furthermore, I'll be everything you don't understand, put it on the group. I will be doing short video for you all, right, and be sending. of voice note. If you don't do it, I'll assume you understand, and I will be going to Bootstrap next week. Do you get? I'll be going to Bootstrap. So you guys should catch up by yourself. You should catch up so that we can run very, very fast. So use this week. Your calculator assignment, I'm not sure you guys went through your code and understand. If you understand, you'll be able to grasp what I'm trying to explain to us right here. Right, so this is it. So this is add students. It's already added there. Add students is in the state of inertia except acted by an external force. Acted by a force. Added by a force. When a force is applied, it gets triggered. Yeah, and everything begins to run. So you have your array to store the items you input, Then show student. This is to display. So this iterate through your array. Try to append the display right here, which will be looped through, So this thing, what you're seeing right here, it's not like it's adding one after the other. No, it's refreshing. It's refresh. Every time you click, it's refreshing. Do you understand? So that's what is happening right here. Let me do something that will shock you. I'll show you. Wait. Uh, let me try something to show you that it's looping. Test. Okay. But that's fine. All right, so guys, this is what I wanted to showcase to you all. Do you have any question before we end it up for this class? So basically, one of the key things in JavaScript you need to know is what I've done tonight. I've taught you conditional statement. I've taught you iteration. So, I've taught you data type. I've taught you variables. Right now, you are supposed to have been using JavaScript, writing a lot of coding. By that, you would have been opened up to so many things, and you'd have been asking questions. So not asking questions on the group shows that you're not doing anything. So next week, I think there's nothing more. I can't spend much time here. So next week, we are going to be going to Bootstrap. In Bootstrapping, we'll be looking at how to design website like this. Website like this. So Bootstrapping, we'll be looking at something like this, how to design something like this. All right, Tunji, you can ask your question. So this is where we are running to next week. And we'll be doing heavy lifting work. Yeah, there's some things that have already been done, but you must know how they are being composed together. All right, Tunji, ask your question, please.
Yes. Sorry. I was just wondering, sir. Do we have class or do we declare classes in JavaScript? Maybe I forgot it, but I'm just wondering, sir.
Okay, no, we don't have class in JavaScript. What we do is function.
Oh.
But there are some advanced JavaScript that they use class. I don't mean do with that, but mostly for now. So we take it step by step. For now, is function. So function, just like they use class in CSS, in JavaScript, what they use is function. Do you get it? Do you get that, Tinji? Promise, you can ask a question.
Yes, I get it, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. I was going to ask about the website you were showing us when we started your building. I was going to ask how you were able to come up with the concept, how you were able to do the code that could sustain your concept. You understand?
Yeah, I get you, promise. So that's what we'll start looking from next week. For example, if I want to build a website, I don't need to start. I won't start from scratch. I don't have that time. and the world has advanced beyond that. So because I understand the concept, the foundations, right? I just need to look for a template, free template that is online, and I will reuse it for myself. Do you get? So you need to understand how websites, how Java HTML structure is, how JavaScript structure is, how CSS structure is. That will help you to be able to, you know, do websites. You get? So I think that's what we are going to start next week. So we enter into Bootstrap immediately next week. We'll look at jQuery. We'll begin to look at how to interface with APIs. We're looking at some complex things. So, and then after that, we'll enter into React.js. So from next week, you'll begin to understand how then I can begin to allow you to begin to use AI tools to create websites. Do you get? So we can begin to do that from next week. But I beg you, please, do a lot. If your foundation is not strong, you'll be having problem. You might be getting it, but you'll be having serious problem. So please, it's not a joke. Find time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, promise. Find
Can
time.
you hear me?
No matter what. I can hear you, promise. Seems your network is lagging.
Yes, it is. Sorry about that. So I wanted to ask, can you build this website, this Revolve website, using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript alone?
No, not possible. It has a framework. Bootstrap is a type of a framework. So you can this one, you cannot build it as standalone alone. You do a lot, you do too much, and you don't have that expertise. You need frameworks. So one of those frameworks is Bootstrap, which we'll be looking at next week.
All right, sir. I got that. Didn't really get that, but I will go over the
No problem. Any other question, guys, you can ask me on the group.
answers.
I'll be releasing short videos, voice note for us all. Do you understand? So I'll be releasing that for us on daily basis so that we can catch up on time. And please make sure, no matter how busy you are, touch this thing every day. That's how it's going to count. All right. Thank you for today. I will be putting the meeting to a close today. Every other thing will be on the group.